I've been throwing my banana peels and coffee grounds straight into the garden soil for the last 6 months. No compost bin, no fancy setup, just digging a hole and burying them. And when I dug up the same spot last week, what I found completely changed how I think about gardening. The scraps didn't just disappear, they turned into something way better than anything I could buy at the shop. And the best part? You can start doing this today with stuff you're probably throwing in the bin right now. It hurts wasting food scraps, but I also really didn't want to deal with a compost bin that you have to turn, water, and babysit like it's a baby. I wanted something easier, so I started just burying my kitchen waste directly in my garden beds. Some stuff worked amazingly, but other things, not so great. Like the time I buried some chicken bones and found that the foxes had been throwing a party in my tomato plants. Not fun. But after months of trial and error, I figured out exactly what works and what doesn't, and why this method is honestly kind of genius. In this video, I'm going to talk about the science behind it, what you should avoid burying, and the exact steps that transformed my soil from sad and dead to rich and alive. Okay, so what's actually happening when you bury food scraps in the soil? It's not magic, but it kind of feels like it. The second you cover those scraps with soil, you're basically ringing a dinner bell for billions of tiny creatures living underground. Yeah, and I mean billions. There are more bacteria in a handful of healthy soil than there are people on Earth. That's crazy, right? Let's look at what happens. Bacteria show up first. They're the fast workers. The ones who break down soft stuff like lettuce and banana peels really quickly. I'm talking about 2 to 3 weeks. Then fungi move in to handle the tougher materials. And then the worms. They're like the cleanup crew, munching through everything and pooping out these incredible castings that plants absolutely go crazy for. The whole process takes about 4 to 8 weeks, depending on how warm your soil is and what you buried. But here's the result. At the end, the scraps turn into something called humus. No, not hummus like the chickpea dip that you love, hummus with one M. It's dark, crumbly, almost spongy material that makes plant roots grow like they're on steroids. There's actual science backing this up too. The University of California did studies showing that buried organic matter can boost your soil's nitrogen levels by up to 30% over a single growing season. That's the same nitrogen you'd be paying £15 to £20 for in a bag of fertiliser from the shop. Except this is free, and you made it from scraps from the kitchen. Now let's talk about why you'd actually want to do this, because it's not just about feeling good about recycling, there are real benefits that will show up in your garden. First, your soil becomes like a sponge. It holds water much better. I used to water my tomatoes every single day during the summer, but now, every 3 days, and they look even healthier. That's because all that decomposed organic matter creates tiny spaces in the soil that trap moisture. Second, free fertiliser. Coffee grounds add nitrogen, which make leaves grow bigger and greener. Eggshells give you calcium, which stops your tomatoes from getting the dreaded blossom end rot. Banana peels give you potassium, which helps plant make better fruit. Add it all together and you're getting a complete fertiliser without spending any money. And here's something that blew my mind. The average family throws away about 100 kilograms of food scraps every year. That's 100 kilos of potential plant food going into the landfill, which is less than ideal. But when you bury it in your garden instead, you're actually locking carbon into the soil and feeding the plants at the same time. The EPA says food waste makes up to 22% of what's sitting in landfills. And if you bury just half in your scraps, you'd keep over 50 kilos out of landfill every year. Just think about that for a moment. Alright, let's get into how you actually do this without turning your garden into a smelly disaster zone. I'm going to walk you through the exact method I use step by step. Step 1. Pick a spot that's at least 6 to 8 inches away from any plant stems. You don't want fresh scraps touching your plant roots directly because it can actually burn them before it breaks down. Step 2. Dig a hole or trench about 8 to 12 inches deep. I know that sounds like a lot of digging, but trust me on this, if you go shallow, animals will smell it and dig it up. And you need the depth of the decomposition to work properly underground, where there's less oxygen. Step 3. Chop your scraps into smaller pieces. Yeah, it's extra work, but it really matters. A whole potato could take 6 months to decompose, but a diced potato? About 3 weeks. You're giving the bacteria more surface area to work with, and they'll break it down way faster. I just use my kitchen scissors and cut stuff up before I head outside. Oregon State University did research showing that chopping scraps down to 1 or 2 inch pieces cuts decomposition time in half compared to burying whole items. So yeah, that extra minute of chopping is well worth it. Step 4. Throw your scraps in the hole. I usually fill it about halfway, maybe a little more if I have lots of scraps that week. Step 5. Cover everything with at least 4 to 6 inches of soil and pack it down. This keeps the smell locked in and pests out. It also gives the microbes the right environment to do their thing. Here's the pro tip that made a huge difference for me. I water my scrap pile with some of my fermented plant extract fertilizer. Not only is this helping the plants growing around it, but it charges the scraps with extra microbes to get the process started much, much quicker. Let's talk about what actually goes in the ground, because I get this question all the time. The simple answer? Most raw fruit and vegetable scraps are totally fine. People say acidic foods are no good, but that's actually not true once it's in the soil. Just try and keep a good balance. Coffee and tea, used coffee grounds are amazing. They've got nitrogen and the worms love them. I probably bury coffee grounds 3 times a week. Tea bags work too, but check for staples first and pull them out. Some tea bags are made of plastic, so just be careful and read the box. Eggshells. You've got to crush them up first. Whole eggshells can take literally years to break down, but crushed ones will add calcium to your soil in just a few months. I keep a jar on my counter and smash them with a spoon before I bury them. Dairy, so milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream. Some say it goes rancid, but I find it's great for the soil, so I bury it. Stale bread and grains, plain rice, pasta, oats, bread that went mouldy, you can bury it, but keep it in small amounts. Too much and you might attract pests. Plus these are heavy in carbon, which can temporarily steal nitrogen from your soil while they break down. What about the things that you should avoid burying in your garden soil? Now this is a little more nuanced. Meat, bones and fish. Meat and bones take forever to decompose. It smells horrible while it's breaking down and can attract foxes and other garden pests. If I'm burying these, I'll make sure to bury them much deeper, probably around 2 foot. As this is a lot more effort, I don't do it so often. I prefer to make fermented fish fertilizer from fish and fish scraps instead. I've made a video all about this process here, which you should watch after this video. Oils and fats. Oil actually coats the soil particles and actually makes your soil repel water instead of absorbing it. So instead of improving your soil, you're making it worse. Same goes for butter, cooking oil, salad dressing. None of it goes in the ground. Pet waste. Even if you have a dog or a cat, don't bury their poop in your vegetable garden. Dog and cat waste can have parasites and bacteria that are dangerous to humans, like toxoplasma and roundworms. These can survive in soil for months or even years. The CDC specifically warns about this. Just bag it and bin it. Bottom line, stick to raw plant-based kitchen scraps and you'll avoid basically every problem that could come up. Let me troubleshoot some problems you might run into, because they'll definitely happen. If it smells terrible, this usually means you didn't bury it deep enough or you dumped too much in one spot. Next time, go deeper, aim for around 1 foot, and spread your scraps out. Don't overload one hole. Do animals keep digging it up? Foxes have really good noses and they love to make a mess in your garden. The solution? Bury it deeper or put a rock or something heavy over the spot to block it. This can really help. If your soil is totally dry, bacteria can't work. They need moisture. If it's winter and your ground is frozen, everything just stops until spring. If you see white fuzzy stuff, that's actually really good news. That's mycelium fungus, and it means decomposition is happening exactly like it should. Fungi break down the tough materials. Do not panic, just leave it alone. Let me tell you what 6 months of doing this did to my garden, because this is the proof that it works. I have this one raised bed where I tested everything. In spring, the soil was hard and kinda grey. I could barely dig into it. By autumn, after burying scraps all season long, that same soil is now dark brown, almost black. When I squeeze it, it holds together but crumbles apart easily. That's the perfect soil texture. Increased crop yield. Because of the increased microbial activity and available nutrition for my plants, they are producing more and tasting better and looking much healthier. A bonus is I've seen reduced pest pressure as well. As my plants are stronger, healthier and not stressed, pests don't have a window of opportunity to move in. Nature defends itself naturally. But my favourite result though, I completely stopped buying fertiliser. I used to spend a lot of money on organic amendments, but this year, nothing. And my plants look better than they have ever done before. The transformation isn't instant. You need patience and time. But when you see the result in healthier, stronger, more abundant plants, you'll know what you're doing is right. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, go and look in your kitchen bin or your compost bin. Pick one thing, just one, and bury it this week. Start small and see what happens. You don't need to change your whole routine overnight. Then come back here and tell me in the comments what you buried and what's your biggest worry about trying it out. I read every single comment and I'll answer your questions myself. If you want more videos like this, real gardening methods that actually work and save you money, hit the subscribe button. But if you're ready to go deeper, you need to watch my video on fermented fish fertilizer. It's on the screen right now. Go and watch it.